I'm Katie Kempner, and welcome to Perspectives here at Advertising Week at the Huffington Post stage. Perspectives is a series of inspiring conversations with remarkable working women who are balancing very busy lives. And right now, it's my pleasure to introduce Lori Goode, who is the head of Atlas, which is a Facebook company. I got both the companies in.
Both the companies in.
So tell me a little bit about what you do.
So I'm in product marketing for Atlas at Facebook, and so my role is really to understand marketing trends for digital advertisers and to talk a lot to advertisers and agencies to understand what would drive their business. And then I work with engineers and product management to help bring those products to life.
So now, when we were talking, and I said to you before we started filming, well, what's it like working in a very male-dominated field? You had a really interesting response to that.
Oh. Yeah, so oftentimes my meetings in engineering and product, I'm typically the only woman. And I don't necessarily see it as gender. So I think that people have their own personalities and tendencies, and one of the things that I really like about working with people is trying to understand motivations and why people behave the way they do, and really adapting to different people's work styles and thinking about how my work style contributes to the work around me. And so I think that working at Facebook particularly, and in the ad tech industry, there's a lot of smart people. And so when we work with women, I feel like there are women there that assert themselves just as much as men do, and I feel like a lot of the men in engineering, a lot of them are introverted, or there's different characteristics. So it's hard for me to think about it as people having characteristics that are predominantly around men or around women, but more just we work with a really diverse set of people from a lot of different cultures, and then understanding how to work with people better that way.
That's an interesting perspective, from a woman, because a lot of times women say, well, I didn't feel that I could say that. Or do you think really it's more of a personality type than it is whether you're a male or female?
I do, and I really don't hold back in that area myself. So if I have something to say, then I feel like people respect what I have to say, and just as much as I would respect what other people have to say.
And a lot of that is being prepared and being ready and being a terrific worker, whether you're a man or woman.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I think recognizing too, again, how different people work together.
Yeah.
So I feel like in recognizing other people's preferences, whether they like to speak up at meetings or they don't, I think trying to understand that and being able to call out if people have opinions but they're afraid to share them, and really adjusting how that works in meetings is really important.
So I'd like to switch gears a little and just talk about your personal life.
Yep.
I know that you have twin girls, right? So
Yes.
I said you're an overachiever.
Yes,
No,
I
you
am.
decided
Very
to do
efficient.
it.
Very
Right.
efficient. Yeah.
But now, so how does that balance in? How are you able to figure everything out with everything that you do and having two at the same time?
Yeah. So. Yeah, you don't plan twins, especially identical twins. They come as a complete surprise, for one. But I think part of it is that, and I almost hate saying this, but I think they're really good girls. I have identical twin girls, and they're very easy to manage, and they're just really fun to be around. And so for me, it's really important for me to put myself in the thing that I'm doing at the time. So when I go to work, I am there to work. And when I get home and I'm with my family, I'm 100% there, 100% present. So I don't get on my laptop as soon as I get home or my phone, and I think it's really important to sort of compartmentalize some of those aspects of my life so that I can focus on what's important there, and so that the people around me feel like I'm focused on them. And so the balance of it for me is a lot about giving attention where I need to and focusing 100% so that I'm present in whatever I'm doing.
That makes a lot of sense, and I feel that way too.
Yeah.
And I wrote in a recent Huffington Post blog piece about being that and being trying to really focus on the moment. But how does that play in technology-wise when you're constantly expected to be getting back in touch with people?
Well, this is where work-life balance becomes really interesting, because I think at a certain point there's always sacrifices. What I've been recognizing a lot, I think a lot about this stuff, and so what I've recognized a lot about myself over the past months is that my sacrifice has been myself lately. And so because there are only so many hours in a day, I'll go to work and I'll come home and I'll hang out with my family. We put the girls to bed, and then I'll typically get back online for another 3-4 hours. And so I think now that I've recognized that that's an area that I want to focus on, then I need to start to carve out more time for myself to make sure that in all of the efforts to keep everything going and giving time to other people, that I'm also recognizing that I probably need some time as well.
So Also in your personal life, but changing gears just a little bit, I know you are very involved in giving, right? And in philanthropy, or
Right.
volunteering, right?
Yep.
Or all of those things together.
Yeah.
So how did you fit that into everything that you're doing, and what made you decide that that's something you wanted to focus on?
Yeah, it was kind of, in retrospect, it might have been really silly, but I was working with a group of women actually at Microsoft, and one of the things that we were focusing on is understanding our work-life balance. And they basically said there are 4 kind of key areas that you can focus on in your life, and one is personal, and that could include fitness, one was community, one was family, and one was work. And I realized that the area that I was saddest I wasn't participating in was the community aspect of things. So all growing up, I spent a lot of time volunteering and working with the community, and I haven't done that in years. So the girls were almost 2 years old, and I looked into a local food bank and family resource center called Family Works in Seattle, and I joined their board of directors a couple of years ago. And it was a horrible timing. You know, I was actually switching companies from Microsoft to Facebook with Atlas. That was stressful by itself. I had 2 not quite 2-year-old girls, and I decided to take that on. But I think that you have to think about what's really important to you and invest time in those areas. And even though they were really young, I wanted my girls to grow up seeing me being involved in something that was outside of the home and outside of work, and really caring about the community in a broader way. And so this year I'm the president of the board of directors, and it's been insane. And I didn't anticipate how busy it would be this year for me, but you kind of work it all in.
So in the vein of working it all in, I like to just end my interviews by asking if there's one piece of advice that you could share that has helped guide you through your life, what would that be?
I would say to stay attuned to who you are and what your values are. And I think that will help you prioritize your time.
That's great advice.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.